Okay. Two or three times a year, I try to bring these ideas to you. A couple are, one is how to get rich in real estate, how to make a lot of money on a regular basis. And another one is how to keep that money and what to do with it, okay? And I usually do this in a big way at the beginning of the year, but I kind of wanted to bring something back to the table right now, because every once in a while we need a refresher course. So is anyone interested in how to set up to make $1 million selling houses in real estate?
Yes.
Okay, this side of the room. What about you guys?
Yes.
So first of all, making $1 million in real estate when I'm just trying to make a living right now seems like a lot. All right, seems like a lot. How are we going to do that? You know, and it's pie in the sky, etc., etc. But there's actually a system, very simple system, where if you follow some basic routines over time, you'll make some really decent money in this business. Okay, so you interested in seeing that? Or because I got some other stuff I could talk about. You know, I could talk about how to do a deal now and then occasionally, maybe. You want that material or this material? This material. $1 million material. $1 million material. Okay. So have you ever heard me recommend, suggest, encourage you to follow up on your past client and sphere?
Yes.
You ever hear me do that?
Yes.
Okay, how often?
Every day.
All the time, every day, a lot, all right? Every minute, not quite every minute, but, well, I guess talking to you, Tess, it's close to every minute. Tess, past client and sphere, yeah. So I want to show you why I say it. I want to demonstrate to you how important this can be to you, your past client and sphere. All right? So what we've proven, beyond a shadow of a doubt, that when you stay in touch with your past client sphere, no matter how big that group is, when you stay in touch with them and you make them feel kind of important and you bring them some information of value over time, that they will either do business with you again or they will refer business to you. Has anyone experienced either one of those?
Yes.
So it should be every one of you at some level, because a big part of your business, a big part of the company's business, comes from past client sphere. It's just part of the deal. So what we want you to, so this is so basic that when you hear it, you're going to laugh at me. Okay? Because most agents do. If you email to, now don't worry about how. Don't worry about the how side of what I'm going to say. Just take this as information. You guys with me?
Yes.
Okay, what I want you to do, it's real important. Turn off the I can't do this switch. Turn off this doesn't work for me switch. Turn off I've tried that once and it didn't work switch. Will you turn all those switches off, please?
Yeah. Okay.
Just take this in as information, and then we'll talk about how to implement later. Everybody with me?
Yes.
All right. Email to your past client and sphere weekly. Don't worry about what. Don't worry about how. Just email to your past client and sphere weekly. Snail mail to that same group monthly. And call them on their cell phone or their home phone every other month. That's the basic premise of of what we're going to do. Okay? Everybody with me so far?
Yes.
Okay. So let's say that you have 200 people that you know, your past client sphere. Now, some of the brand new people, not so many. Some of the guys and gals that have been in the business for a while, you might have 300 or 400 people. So let me ask you guys a question. If those of you that are younger and you would do a wedding for yourselves or your sister, brother, aunt, and uncle, typically how many people would you probably invite? How many couples would you invite to that event? 100 couples. Okay? More? Less? About 100. So 100 couples is how many people? 200. Most people have about 100 couples that they know. Some a little more, some a little less. You might not want to invite 100 couples to the wedding because you might not want to spend 200 for 200 people. I get that. But that's the general world that we're working with. So my 200 is actually decently in line, okay? So write 200 right next to 2018, all right? Now, we kid around about this all the time, and we suggest to you that you get your cell phone and you start with A and go to Z, and you think you have 50 or 60 people that are your past client sphere, and I would suspect that if I went through your cell phone with you by each person, I would find 20, 30, 40, 50 people more that you could be following up on. That make sense?
Yes.
Got it? Okay. So they're there. You're just not following up on them for lots of different reasons, but we're not going to worry about why you do or you don't. We're just going to show you the numbers right now. So let's say between now and the end of 2018, you end up with 200 people in your database. You've gone through them, you've sorted it out, and you've got those people. Because that's about what you should have. Everybody with me?
Yes.
All right. Now what we want you to do is we want you to email those people weekly, so you need to get their email addresses. So that means you're going to have to talk to them, go knock on their doors, go visit them, bring them information.
I won't do that.
Well, some will do it. Some will do it. Okay, and at the end you'll see why it's a really good idea to do it. Snail mail something to them. So if you've mailed 200 postcards out to these people at 50 cents a postcard, maybe 65 cents a postcard with postage and stuff, well, let's do this. Let's say it's $1 a postcard, okay? Let's say it costs you $1 a postcard. So that's every month it would cost you $200 to stay in touch with those people. Now that's not a little amount of money, but it's not the end of the world. Everybody agree with me?
Yes.
Okay? So you could make that investment if you had those 200 people. So now snail mail costs you how much? Excuse me. Email costs you how much? Zero. Snail mail might cost you how much? $2 or $200. And then I want you every other month to call them on your cell phone or use my phone. It's fine. Okay? You could use my phone. So you say, well, I don't want to use my minutes or whatever. Okay, that's fine, that's fine, that's fine. All the desks have a phone. Okay? All right? So we really take away all the barriers. So if you called them every other month, how much does that cost you? Zero. So you have you've touched them a number of times in each quarter, a number of times each year, with little or no direct cost. Everybody with me?
Yes.
Okay. We've proven, beyond a shadow of a doubt, that if you do that on a regular basis, that you will get 10%, at least 10% of that 200 to do business with you over a 12 to 18 month period. You guys with me?
Yes.
So what 10% of 200 is how much? 20 deals. Now, I get you may not sell Susie a house, you just sold her a house last year. I get she might not buy one from you right away. But Susie has friends and relatives. You did a nice job. And even if you didn't do a job where Susie got a little annoyed with you, because quite frankly, don't the clients at the end of the transaction, isn't there a lot of times something that's a little annoying, a little bit of pushback once in a while? Does that happen?
Yes.
Okay, happens occasionally, right? If you call them 90 days later, do they remember being upset with you?
No.
They're usually pretty happy about being in the house. And it's us who chooses not to call, because we think they're still thinking about the time they got mad. All right? So I was, this is a guy thing. Somebody told me a couple months ago, guys should wait 24 hours before talking to their spouse after getting into an argument. Why?
Let some cool down.
No, because in 24 hours, most guys forget what the hell the deal was about anyway. Guys, right?
Very true.
Now the women, a whole other conversation.
24 years.
But guys forget. We forget. That's really the truth is most people in a few days forgot what the heck was the beef, what was the issue, okay? True, right? But we, because we had a little problem with them right at the closing, the interest rate went up a tad, the termite report was $100 more than it should have been, little stuff like that, right? It's usually little stuff, and we think they're mad at us forever, and then we don't get in touch with them, and they do business with somebody else. It's a crazy thing. It's totally crazy. So, but they may not do business, they may not buy a house, right, a year from now, but they have friends and family, and they will give you referrals. We've proven this over and over and over and over again, all right? So, now the question is, how do I build that next year to get to a higher number? So I'm going to throw a number at you, and I'm going to say that through all the other work that we teach you to do, just listed, just sold, some expireds, for sale by owners, door knocking, open houses, etc., that your job is to find 8 people a month to add to that database. 8 people a month. Now, that gives you 30 days of prospecting to find an additional 8 people. Now, some of them are going to be your closed transactions, your new closed transactions. They're going to go in that base. But some of those people are going to be people that you door knock or phone canvas, and you find out, have you guys ever run into, when you're out prospecting, ever run into the guy or gal who's the neighborhood know-it-all?
Yes.
They know everything that's going on the block. They know this one's getting a divorce. They know somebody's sick in that house. They know that this one down the street's in a little financial trouble. I'm never sure how they do that, but maybe they go through the garbage. I don't know. But there's always somebody. Now that person may never list or sell their house with you, but they know everything that's going on in the neighborhood. That person gets on your database. You guys with me?
Yes.
And you check in with them on a regular basis because they know what's going on in the community. That's one of your 8 on a monthly basis. Get it?
Yes.
Okay, and that's why we don't want you only working one geographic area. We want you to work a larger area so that you can add these people to your base. So, 2018, so you do this in all of 2018, and you've added 8 people a month, and you keep track of that. Your coaches keep track of you to make sure you're adding the 18. Now 8 8 times 12 is how much? 96. So go with me and let's call it 100. Will you do that?
Yes.
Okay, so for every year, I'm going to add 100 people to that database. So in 2018, I started with 200. In 2019, how many did I add?
300.
So I've added how many?
100.
100, but you take the 200 and the 300, and that, or 200 and 100, now I have 300 people. Now, again, same thing. You email monthly, you've been email monthly, you email weekly, snail mail monthly, phone call every other month. That's your job. And you do that to the 300 now, not the 200. You've worked those clients out, and you end up with a very similar 10% of that. So 10% of 300 is how much? 30. Now we have 30 transactions. Now this is only past client and sphere of influence. It's not just listed, just sold. It's not open houses. It's not working other angles of the business. It's just past client. You guys with me?
Yes.
Does this start to make, can you see how this makes sense?
Yeah.
Now, 300 transactions, it's 300 people, 30 transactions, $10,000 a deal. $10,000 a deal gives me a $300,000 that comes in just from past client and sphere. Now, are you starting to see why I bug you all the time to talk to your past client and sphere? Is this starting to get a picture on this?
Yes.
This is a valuable thing. So, 2020. Now, question. Are you planning on being in the business 3 years from now?
Yes.
Okay? You're planning on being here 3 years from now.
Yeah.
You're sure? So, okay, good. We have, all right, most people have said yes. How many people a month are we looking for to add to our past client and sphere base? 8. And they're going to come from where?
Referrals, friends, everywhere.
Referrals, friends, family. We're looking to add 8. We're looking for the, the client, the person that isn't going to sell. They live generally in a corner house. They see everything going that way, and they see everything going that way, and they know who's coming and who's going. And that guy or that gal, and it's not limited to only women or only men, it's, you don't know, they're very helpful. They want to help. Spend a little time nurturing that relationship, and they'll tell everything to you what's going on in the neighborhood. That person got to be on your list. It's got to be on your list. Who else? Postman's got to be on your list. Find the postman. Most post people work general communities, so they just are in that community. FedEx people. Do you know that the FedEx driver at my house has been the same guy for 12 years?
Wow.
12 years. They know what's going on in the community. The UPS driver changes, but the FedEx guy, been the same guy. Fascinating. They know stuff. Same thing with plumbers and Roto-Rooter people in the neighborhood. They know things. Find out, get them to be part of your sphere, and get them on your list. Okay? So, 2020, we've added 8 people a month. We email weekly, snail mail monthly, and we phone call every other month. And if you do that with 400 people, you should end up with how many transactions? 40. Should. I could be wrong. Maybe it's 30. Some of you are really good at this, and you don't get 10%. You get 15%. I've seen some agents that are just phenomenal at this because they like the people and the people like them, and they work this network, and they end up with 40 transactions. 40 transactions at $10,000 a deal is how much? $400,000. You guys with me?
Yeah.
Now, let's fast forward this. We added, in 2021, 100, 8 a month, 12 months, 96, we rounded up. So now we have 500 people in 2021, 2022, 2023, 2024, 2025, and it gets us to 2026, which is 9 years from now. It's 9 years from now. Not that far. 9 years from now. It's not sexy. This is not sexy. Is one of the reasons we don't do it. No, really, really. It's not cool. It's a little boring. You know, this is what I have to do on a regular basis. But boring could get you 1,000 people in your database. Email weekly, snail mail monthly, nothing changes. Okay? Call them every other month. You do your job. $10,000 a deal times 100 transactions. How much? $1 million. $1 million. Karen Bernardi, Neil Weichel, Mark and Al, Scalios, make $1 million plus a year. And they do it because of this. Some years more, some years less, some years more, some years less. Boring, crazy, crazy boring sometimes because, look, you've got to work the system. Remember I told you it's not sexy, you're not running around, you're not flipping properties, you know, you're not trading things up. You're boringly, this is boring, moving 20 deals, then 30 deals, then 50 deals, then 100 deals, making $1 million a year. So here's an interesting question. Let's say Neil really doesn't know what he's talking about. And that I do this, and I only get it to 60 transactions, not 100. Did all this work? I did it for 9 years, and I only get it to 60 transactions, and all I could get is $600,000 out of this thing. So who would be really mad at me? Really mad. Do you get my point? If we're going to fail, let's fail at a pretty high level, no? Does this make sense?
Yeah.
Yes.
All right, questions on this?
I'd like to just comment on it, you know, and it truly does work. I've been going through some family issues the last few months. The last thing I've wanted to do is, you know, get on the phones and
Sure.
prospect. But because I've done it so much, people call. And deals have just fallen in my laps. I really don't want to work,
Right.
but it's like.
So you don't have a choice when somebody
I don't
calls.
have a choice.
Will you list
when
this
they're calling.
$800,000 house for me?
Yes, you know what I mean? And it's just kind of fallen on my laps. And so I have
And
to
you've
say-
struggled for the last few years trying to get your arms around this database.
Correct,
Okay, it's not that simple.
correct.
It's not that simple holding on to it and loving it and caring for it and taking care of it. But when you, even at the level you have, which hasn't been perfect, but definitely above zero, okay? You're still making a nice living, and you're trying not to work right now. Isn't that interesting?
Correct.
Isn't that interesting? Lita?
Question. When you say email out weekly, what would
We
you...
remember, we're not there yet,
That-
okay? I'm telling you, don't get into the mechanics, because the mechanics will stop you. Yeah, but Neil, I gotta know how to do this.
Got it.
Look, this is what we teach, it's what we do, all right? And it's really not that hard, and we keep reminding you and reminding you and reminding. We actually have a system in our company, Lita, that we put together a couple years ago. Some of you will love it. For free, write that down. For free. Which is really weird because a lot of people don't use it. For free. Now, how much does it cost? Okay, really nothing. Not kinda nothing. Nothing. you give us your database, and on a weekly basis, we will send out an email under your name covering that weekly email. You guys with me on this? How much did we say that cost?
Free.
Free. That costs nothing. All right? And additionally, we'll send you, we'll carve out 5 of your past client and sphere and send it to you every day. So your job is to call your past client and sphere 5 every day. Now that's all you have to do. Well, in your case, you have to do one more thing, Lita. You have to join the company. But everybody else, that's all you have to do. That makes sense? Simple. Why do we do the 5? Because I know that you're not going to do any if we, for some reason you don't do them, if we don't keep sending them to you, and then it's my way of keeping my hand in your back. I'm not going to push you, I'm not going to do that. You'll trip and fall. But if somebody had your hand in their back, and they were just doing this to you, every day, you'd make the phone calls. Because we also bug you every few days if you're not sending us your notes back. After you call them, you send your notes back, and we just it's an Excel spreadsheet. It's nothing big deal. It's just a simple system. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yes.
Do you still have a base?
Sure. We still do it. We still do it. Questions? So somebody else had their hand up. Questions on this? So tell me why you guys don't talk to your past client and sphere base. Any ideas? Jack.
I discovered recently a lot of time I had difficulty talking to them because I wasn't prepared. If I don't have what I want to say in mind, and I'm just calling them, and then it becomes kind of awkward.
Okay.
But if I had something written out, I offer things of value, including in the script, and the conversation becomes very smooth.
Right. So the issue is that when we do call them, sometimes we don't have the information prepared to have a conversation, so it feels awkward. That happen to anyone else sometimes?
Yes.
Right. Okay, Jack, let's role play. Ring, ring. Jack, I'll be the agent.
Hello?
Hey, is this Jack?
Yeah, this is
Jack, Neil Schwartz, Entry 21 Masters, your real estate agent. How you doing today?
Oh, doing good. Thank you for asking.
Fantastic, fantastic. Hey, Jack, I'm really glad I got you at home. You know, I don't know if you knew this or not, but in your area of Brea, last month, there were 23 homes that actually closed escrow. And the really good news is that 18 of those sold at or above list price. Jack, did you know that was going on?
Wow, I didn't know that.
Pretty exciting, right?
Sounds good.
Yeah, and we know when that starts to happen, 4 or 5 others are going to start selling right away. So Jack, I was kind of curious. Who do you know? Friend, family, aunt, uncle, sister, brother, that might want to take advantage of this great marketplace? Can you think of anyone, Jack?
Not off the back of my head, but
Okay.
if I think of anyone, I'll definitely call you.
Well, I appreciate that, Jack, and thanks for thinking about that. And by the way, you guys, when do you guys plan on moving?
Oh, not yet.
No, not yet?
Uh-huh.
Well, thank you very much. And, do you mind if I call you on a regular basis and just kind of update you on some of the things going on in the community?
Sure, that'd be great.
Perfect. I'll be in touch. Thank you very much.
Bravo.
Very good.
That's as basic as we teach. It doesn't get any more basic than that. That's what we teach. And, not in here, but on your daily sheets, you have, for almost every city in any community we do business in, those statistics, and we upgrade them. We pay somebody to look at every city in the Inland Empire, Orange County, and San Gabriel Valley every month to update the statistics. Okay? We pay. You don't have to pay, you don't have to look it up. It's right there on the sheet. So this month I called Jack, maybe I would call you, maybe I'll call you. One is Hacienda Heights, one is Walnut, one is Diamond Bar. It's right there on the sheets. I just keep moving through the sheets and keep giving different information. And why don't we call the next month after I did that with Jack? Can I tell you why we won't make that call in 2 months?
Because we'll think they
Because
remember,
we think they remembered what I said.
and they don't. I know.
Remember what I told you? Your ego is not your amigo. Let me tell you something. In seconds after you hang up, they forgot what you talked about. Seconds. And you're worried about 2 months later, they're going to remember you said 20 deals closed. First of all, it's information that is updated and real. It is what's going on in the market. And you're afraid they're going to remember. Come on, guys and gals, please. They don't remember. They don't remember. You're not the only person they talk to over the next 2 months. Okay? And even if you were, they wouldn't remember. Does that part make sense?
Yes.
I know that's what stops you guys, because you don't know what to say. I'm saying, just say that. Updated monthly, or updated every 2 months. Get it?
Yes. And at that time, it's gonna be a different number.
It'll be a different number. And by the way, it might not be a different number. This month might have been 20, and 2 months from now might have been 20, because that was just what the number was. But it will be authentically updated by us. Bless you.
Yeah.
Does this make sense?
Yes.
Okay, why else won't you do it? So you can do that script. Everybody with me?
Yes.
No one would have trouble with that script.
No.
We teach that script. Actually, it's a very interesting thing. That's the script that I have the coaches teach you at the beginning of every single role play. We go through that to kind of loosen ourselves up. Why? Curious as to why?
The most
Valid
common
information to remind you to do
one
it.
is one of the.
Because you don't do it, so I got to remind you somehow. If I imagine every role play session in the company, morning and afternoon, starts with that past client and sphere script in every office. Okay? Then we go to another script and we work and talk about that. But for the first 8 to 10 minutes, we're just loosening ourselves up on that. You actually know that script and don't realize you know it. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Fascinating, isn't it? And you just think I'm another pretty face. I know stuff. All right. I got nothing else. You guys can make $1 million a year on this system. It's going to take a little bit of time. It's going to be a little bit boring. And all you have to do is just kind of work on this on a daily, weekly basis over time. So are we going to get started on this, yes or no?
Yes. Yes.
All right, let's go. Let's have an awesome week. Thank you. Oy.